As yet, we have covered coherence in the Quran. That was one topic. Then I talked about the conditions that we must satisfy in order for us to properly benefit from the Quran. Then I talked about the law of guidance. What is it that the Almighty sets forth as his condition or conditions to approve, allow somebody to have guidance? And the last two sessions were devoted to a discussion on the law of what we call itmam al-hujjah, completion of evidence. We might call it a law of risala as well. As I've always been saying, as a speaker, if you are not motivated that the topic you are talking about is the most important topic under the sky, you don't get the kind of motivation that is needed. So today I'm going to talk about another topic, which today I believe is the most important topic. Last Sunday, I believed that topic was the most important one. And today, this topic, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, is the most important topic ever. And the topic is none other than beliefs, Iman. Something that the Almighty has emphasized over and over again, that if there are two conditions for an individual to satisfy, for him, her to be able to be eligible to enter the paradise, one of them is belief, Iman, and the other is Amal Saleh, good performance, good acts. So in today's session, I am going to talk about beliefs. A number of questions I'm going to make. That in the next session, I will try to bring forth Quranic verses that are going to support what I am venturing to say right now. The first thing, what is a belief? Belief is essentially acknowledging, confirming those unseen realities which are presented by the prophets of Allah, prophets of God, as important realities to be acknowledged, to be accepted. In other words, to be believed in. That's what belief is. So, for a belief to be believed, it has to be a reality that cannot be seen. It has to be presented by prophets of God, B, and it has to be accepted. It has to be acknowledged. The second point is, how do we get belief? What is the way? What is the process, right? You see, belief in the unseen is acknowledging the realities that you cannot see. So why should you accept them? When you can't see them, why should you accept them? Well, one answer, a weak answer, a poor answer is, you acknowledge them because your parents say that. Your elders say that you believe in them. The society that you live in, they say that they need to be believed in, and therefore you believe. This is no good reason. You know why? Because, you are, allow me to say, accidentally born Muslims. Had you been born Christians, you would have been presented with some other set of beliefs. And had you been born a Hindu, oh my goodness, a completely different set of beliefs. So if believing in what your parents and elders and society are telling you to believe in is what the Almighty expects from you, this is no good reason to believe. How can you convince yourself? So then what else is what else is there for us to feel comfortable that the beliefs are correct? There's only one thing: intellect, your thinking, your understanding. So there are two things. One is that you use your intellect honestly, not just use of intellect, but honest use of intellect. And number two, your morality. We, we talk about morality, um, the rights of others, the right behavior, the right conduct, and this morality is what we know from within that it's something that's desirable. So if you do something immoral, you know from inside. I mean, there's going to be a protest. You'll feel uncomfortable. So your proper use of intellect plus your morally upright behavior is what is going to lead you to believe. Why? Why? Because there is within you, within each one of us, a strong yearning to, to believe, to find answers to some perplexing questions that we all human beings face as soon as we become mature. Who created us? Why did he create us? What are his attributes? Why are there so many problems in this life? Why am I being given this conscience, moral understanding? And the most important thing, why do we die? And what happens after death? So, I mean, if somebody says that, I'm not interested in beliefs, I think there could be one of the two reasons why such a response is going to be given. Either the person is an idiot, he is so deeply absorbed in worldly matters that he has no concern except for the immediate future, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, full stop. Or the other reason could be that he is so disappointed with the performance of those people who present beliefs that he says that, I mean, if that is what beliefs are, I'm sorry, I'm better off doing what I'm doing. But otherwise, I mean, looking for the answers to the questions that this life throws at us all the while is natural. I mean, there's no chance that a person will feel comfortable unless you get an answer to what this whole puzzle is all about. So again, the question I've not answered it yet. How do you get belief? Um, when you are within yourself uncomfortable, I want the answer. You talk to people, and in most cases, you know from inside, even if you don't formally acknowledge it, there is a creator. And if you are desperate, you start asking for the answers. You pray for them. Normally, it so happens that you have some accident, some tragedy, some difficulty, some setback in life, which forces you to look at the real meanings of life. And therefore, you search for it desperately and you ask for it. And you know what? You start getting answers. You will get answers in a way which I will not get. In this particular case, all humans have their own unique experiences. I probably might not be able to explain to you why I believe in the details. I can tell you the arguments. What exactly makes me feel comfortable is what is there inside me as my experiences that make me feel comfortable, confident. that the beliefs that I have accepted are true. But this is something you will only be able to make yourself convinced about if you're open. If you are not open, you know what's going to happen? You will say that this feeling that I'm calling belief is so good. I don't want to, I don't want to endanger it. I don't want to risk it by starting a discussion. So, I've got a belief and I feel good about it. I have something inside myself which makes me feel good. But you know what? I don't want to talk about it. You know, Allow me to say that this is not a good way of believing, because what you believe in, if it is not the truth, then you're actually creating something to satisfy yourself. But I mean, that's not a good reason. That's not a good way of believing. So you are open, you are desperate, you seek, you you pray, and there is a puzzle, there is a challenge, and you start getting answers which make you satisfied, and your experiences in life, more particularly in response to your prayers, make you feel confident, gradual. It's a gradual process. I'm quite surprised when people say that all of a sudden, overnight, I had a vision and I started believing, and before that, I didn't believe. I don't know. I have no right to speak about it negatively, because I've never experienced it myself, nor do I have any evidence in the Quran. It's an ongoing, gradual process. Now, the next question I'm going to respond to is, what if it doesn't happen that way? You've not believed in by serious contemplation, praying to the Almighty, going through experiences, but you just believe. You believe the traditional way. You say that, you know what, I have seen around myself, my parents, my elders, my society, they're all saying the same thing over and over again. So I also have the same understanding. And I feel good about it. Although the process that is followed in this case is, allow me to say, is the process of indoctrination, brainwashing. You say the same thing over and over again and refuse to listen to anything else. You start saying, this is what the truth is. This actually has happened. I mean, we've got evidences of such phenomena uh, all across. So that is what I might call traditional way of believing. Honestly, I have nothing against it, because this probably is the second best solution. It is by far, you know, second to the best solution by a wide margin. But it is, because there is a need for faith. You've not been able to acquire it properly. So the only other way is that you follow what others are saying. Uh, I think that uh, this type of belief to me is acceptable, provided two conditions are satisfied. One, you are open. You are open to criticism about your beliefs. Because you feel that everybody is saying the same thing. Okay, I accept it. So you are saying that right now this is what my understanding is. But if you have something against it, tell me. I'll think about it. That's one thing. The other thing is that if somebody has had a belief which is there in him, her, because of his tradition, his society, then it doesn't make any sense that you criticize the beliefs of others. It really is double standards. You have believed, you know why? Because your parents, your elders, your society said that this is what the truth is, without you doing anything about it. You never thought of it. and you say that, those others, they're doomed, they are misled. For God's sake, those poor creatures are doing exactly what you are doing. They have never bothered to look at the possibility whether these beliefs are right or not. Likewise, you are doing it. I mean, you are relying on your scholars, and they make brilliant presentations. They are excellent speakers. You are fond of them, and likewise they. If you've never experienced it, please do it. I have been to churches to listen to brilliant presentations by their speakers, uh, priests, about a belief we believe is not correct. So I think there is room for traditional belief, provided it is accepted honestly and humbly. And when you are doing it honestly, well, you say that, I myself I've not done nothing about it. But, I mean, everybody's saying it, so I'm open. You tell me something which makes more sense, I'll think about it. And secondly, while I'm adopting this policy, if there are others who have adopted the very same policy and have reached different conclusions from mine, well, I don't blame them. The fourth question: does what we call belief fluctuate? The answer is very much so, most certainly. It experiences ups and downs. Why? Uh, because of a number of factors. Because of the influence of information, new information. You get new information that supports your belief, and it goes up. You receive information which goes against your belief, and it goes down. Mind you, I'm talking about a person who allows himself to be influenced by information. There are many religious people who say that forget about other information. You are on the right track. Don't listen to anything else. I'm telling you, this is not the right idea. This is not the right idea. So if you get information which is confirming your beliefs, your faith strengthens. If you get information which goes against your beliefs, your faith, that is, your feeling, your attachment, it weakens. Then sometimes it's your experience which causes your beliefs to fluctuate. You know, you have an experience wherein whatever understanding of belief you have, uh, it gets strengthened. You are able to face the situation because of what you understand, your beliefs, and you are more confident, and there is an inner feeling which, despite you using your intellect properly, it gets strengthened. And obviously, if the experience uh, that you've gone through makes you feel that my faith has not helped me uh, in facing the situation, then your belief goes down. Uh, then uh, your moral behavior. I mean, honestly, if you do something wrong, then your belief, if it is the right belief, it must go down. If you do something very wrong, it should go, much deeper, unless you regret and you repent. And if you do things right, you feel good. You have a feeling that your beliefs, chief amongst them, your creator, your God, Allah, is satisfied, pleased with you. So, that feeling, it makes you feel comfortable, good. And also your commitment. If you are committed to your belief, it gets strengthened. If your commitment is wavering, it's not quite as strong, then your belief, your confidence, your feeling of attachment, it weakens. Can belief disappear? Yeah, it can. I mean, if these factors that I've mentioned, like you get new information which says that you know what, sorry, your belief doesn't make sense. I mean, it's incorrect. So what will you do? Uh, it can go. Or some experience of yours uh, makes you feel that your belief did not come to your rescue at all. It might go. But I think if your belief is a genuine belief, the most likely possibility that is going to disappear is by your poor moral performance. Uh, you know, your belief entails that your creator is there looking at you, your performance. And what you're doing is exactly the contrary against the expectations of your creator, exactly against the understanding that you're going to be held accountable on the day of judgment. And you're just ignoring it. So the end result is going to be that you actually might find that deep inside your heart, there's no feeling for it. Don't feel attached. And likewise, I mean, your commitment, is not there. So your faith after a certain while might disappear, uh, and so on. Now, what if faith, as has been presented by the prophets, what if it has not been presented properly? Because, as I said earlier, I mean, it is faith and good deeds that put together would enable a person to be successful in the next life. What does that mean? What it means is that, you know, you have to believe in certain things as realities, and you have to do certain acts. You have to behave in a certain way to be able to be successful in the next life. Next life. How much? As much as your situation, your capacity would allow. So it would vary from person to person. It's not the same expectation of the Almighty from everybody. So allow me to say that it's your environment, your situation, your personality, which put together would cause a certain capacity, minimum acceptable capacity, minimum acceptable performance from your side that is going to be set forth as a standard. If you meet it, good, you'll be successful. Otherwise, you'll be held accountable. So, I mean, what if it is not presented to some people at all? Some individuals, particularly Muslims, and I think Christians too, they think that it's not possible. Faith and belief has always been presented to all humanity uh, in all different eras of human civilization. That's not true. That's not true. I can assure you that if you claim to be a believer and your performance is poor, morally poor, then whatever you say in the name of faith has actually not been presented. In actual fact, what has been presented is negative. So imagine the person who has not as yet accepted your faith, and he comes across some believers, some people who claim to believe, and they say, for instance, for us, uh, it's not a bad idea that we kill people, and we do it because of our faith. And let's face it, that's good. And the other person is baffled. What's going on? I mean, what are you saying? You've not explained it properly, but this is what is happening right in front of their eyes. So, in that case, honestly, faith has actually not been presented or has been presented negatively. So, what about those people? Well, in their case, they will be asked about whatever truth was available to them. If the truth of God's message and beliefs is presented properly, that is the most significant truth. And by the way, this truth is presented most convincingly when the prophets are there physically present. While they are present, all good people converge towards them. They accept that belief, that faith that they are presenting. When they are not present, then faith, God's message is presented sometimes in an excellent way, sometimes less than excellent way, sometimes ordinary way, sometimes in a poor way, and it all depends. So people who have not had the privilege of receiving the message of the Almighty and therefore the faith, the presentation of faith properly, they will be questioned about their attachment to sincerity towards truth, whatever truth was available, whatever the Almighty is going to decide that this was the truth given their circumstances that they were expected to acknowledge. And obviously, the Almighty is also going to take into consideration their inquisitiveness, curiosity. Because as I said, the demand for faith is there the way this life has been designed structured. There are questions. So, okay, religious people have not answered the question properly for somebody. What is he, she doing himself, herself? So, that is going to be taken into account. How do they then answer those questions? So that's what is going to be the case with people who have not been presented with formal faith convincingly. Why is faith so important? Is the next question. Well, faith is important because faith unfolds God's scheme of life to humans who have been thrown into the test of this life in a way that in the absence of faith, they should be wandering, they should be confused, they should be searching for the truth. So the truth is actually God's scheme, God's plan, scheme of things. And when it is understood, it solves the puzzle. It's the truth which, if it is presented properly, it must be accepted. And that's the test of a faith. You have problems of life right before you, and you look at the faith that you've accepted, and you think about it, you read about it, you listen to people about it, and you use your intellect honestly and properly, and you say to yourself, honestly, deep inside, I understand. Makes sense. You're not forcing it. You're not allowing yourself to get indoctrinated. You can accept anything by repeating the same stuff over and over again. That's the trick. But that's not what truth, would necessarily be if you keep repeating it. So, it has to be a real feeling of contentment from inside that, okay, I've got it. Makes sense. So that's going to be the test. And faith is important because God created everything and he had a plan, and he unfolds his plan through his messengers, his representatives. So obviously he wants his faith to be accepted, right? There's some people who ask actually this question. If you are saying that those people have not been presented with faith properly, they're going to be, well, they're still going to be, they have a hope of being successful. So why should we bother? Man, you should bother because you have it. It is your responsibility to present it. So you're going to be questioned about it. Why did you not present it properly? And them getting the Almighty's grace and mercy is a part of my faith. Because I believe God is fair. He's kind. He's wise. So honestly, if you think that your faith is telling you that a person was not presented with the message properly, and yet he's going to be thrown in the hellfire to roast there forever, and there's some problem with your faith. Please consider it again. Revisit it. Don't hasten to those conclusions. Are the intelligent people advantaged? That's the next question I'm going to respond. Because if faith is based on intellect, then obviously some people are more intellectually gifted than others. So are you trying to suggest that the more intelligent a person, the more he is likely to be faithful, to be a believer? Well, the answer is no, no, that's not the case. Uh, each individual is tested according to his potential. So whatever your potential is going to be according to it that you are going to be held accountable. So it's not your IQ, your cleverness, your sharpness that is the criterion. In fact, it's wisdom. And wisdom really means your seriousness of purpose. An intelligent, bright person might think that, what this man is presenting, if I'm going to accept it, I'll have to discipline myself. I don't want to discipline myself, he says to himself from inside, and comes up with arguments, sharp, clever arguments to, fool everybody that this presentation is wrong. So, despite a person's cleverness, if he is not honest, then, he's going to be at a disadvantage. So, it's seriousness of purpose, your commitment to morality, your commitment to seeking the truth is what is going to make you ultimately successful. Is God interested in specifics of faith? That is, sometimes there are details mentioned, not just God, not just the life hereafter, not just the prophets, but angels as well. But the fact that, the Almighty has this decision taken regarding what is evil and what is harmful, what is problematic. He has a plan. Shar, the qadr of shar and khair. All these are important because the more you delve deeper into faith, the more you will get clarity about the details. So it all depends on your level of understanding and how much you have been exposed to faith. Details are also important. You are basically not allowed to reject any of the truths about faith when they are presented to you. So, yeah, he's interested, provided they are presented properly. The more the details, uh, the more the more the details you understand, the more the riddle, the puzzle is solved. It becomes clearer and clearer. But it's not simply a list of items to be memorized. I find it very strange that some people think that, we have got a book. We have a book of aqaid and we have memorized. And therefore now our faith is complete. But that's only a list. I mean, it's just item mentioned. Faith is here. Faith comes from here. You understand, you acknowledge, and it begins to make sense to you. Okay, the time for the first presentation is coming to an end, but I've made note of a few other questions also. I'll just throw them at you, and maybe I'll find time the next session to answer them. Does belief have anything to do with attitude? What part does a debate play in belief? Probably I've answered it, but maybe something more. Akhlaq and belief, and uh, conversions, uh, questioning faith, etc. What does it have to do with real uh, belief?